I mean, I think everybody's out of town, and when I think of the different places that y'all came from, down North Carolina.
Yeah, keep
it's easy.
Real.
Careful.
Keep it real.
We got people from upstate New York. We've got New York City,
Hurley,
Cleveland, Early, Arizona, Australia, Singapore. I mean, this is like an epic road trip, right? And Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah, UK, keeping it real.
It's my daughter Brooklyn right there. So I'm Tom, Brian's brother, the father of Brooke and Luke, somewhere running around here, son of Barbara and Carl, and Brian asked me to be his best man. And so, and Jackie. Back to road trips. I mean, if you ask my parents or Donna what I do, they'd be probably like, I think it does something in the internet and travels a lot, but it seems like you have a lot of fun, from time to time. And honestly, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than being on a road trip. I mean, some of the best times of my lives were, on the road. And I always thought that it wasn't always necessarily, where we went. It was almost just as much fun who you were with or, what you did when you went there. And I can remember the cars that I was in and the people I were almost more than what I did when I got there. So I brought some visual aids here. And I'd like to start out with my first phase of road tripping. Okay? And this was with Carl and Barbara. Yeah, if anyone's seen the movie Vacation, they might recognize the family truckster there. Right? What was it, Dad? Like a 1975 Dodge Coronet wagon. Sweet. I'm not sure we went with the paneling option, but we did have some pretty cool features in that. I remember it had a perpetual smell of a Christmas tree. Because one year we used to like to chop our own trees, and my dad. I figured he'd skip the step where you tie it on top and just shove it in the back, right? And for as long as I can remember, that thing smelled like pine sol. And we would always be pulling out the little needles out of the upholstery, But that was awesome. We, the title here is no GPS, no smartphones, no air conditioning, no seatbelts. I know. No problem, right? You think about road trips today, and kids, Luke and Brooke, I mean, they're watching Netflix, Hulu TV, and, they got, they're still saying, when are we going to get there, right? We didn't really have any of that. We had whatever puzzles Mom gave us, and Wrigley's gum, right?
Punching.
I Spy, something, Punch Bug. And invariably, we get on each other's nerves, but I think we got pretty tight, right? And, we'd go to exotic places like the Jersey Shore and Orlando, Florida. Imagine 3 kids today, with no electronics going down to Florida. That's right. But the car did have one pretty cool feature in it that I remember. Being up in New York, they don't necessarily, they can't necessarily get all the snow off the road, so they tend to throw down a lot of rock salt. And what it has this effect on cars is it sometimes rots them from the bottom up. And we had about a fist-sized hole that me and Brian, when we get bored on these road trips, we'd pull the floorboards or pull the rugs over, and we'd look at the ground and sometimes we'd throw Tic Tacs down it too and watch them explode. I mean, this is the things we did to amuse ourselves. So, go to the next one, please, Vanna. So here's one of those destinations that we went to. I think one of mine and Brian's favorite.
Nice.
It was a place in Cape May, New Jersey called Cape May Point. And I can remember just, climbing up and down and jumping off those things, hundreds of thousands of times. And I realized this was probably the first day on vacation because we don't have our sunburns that we were going to be sporting.
Not wearing a t-shirt.
With our copper tone UPF 2. But we had some good times. When we weren't doing that, we would sneak into the lobbies and play Space Invaders and listen to all the insurance drunks that were avoiding the conference, and just
Alabama Slammers.
Drinking Alabama Slammers. So anyway, I was the first one of the kids to leave the house and went away to college at Clarkson, and really only could come home during summers and holidays. Go home up yet? No. we rehearsed.
It was all last night. I'm impressed.
Yeah, keep that up. So I noticed a couple things when I came home. First of all, Kristen and Brian got really tight. I mean, she was, my baby sister when I went away to school, and then all of a sudden she was like a teenager, and it had an effect that it kind of, Brian was kind of like the conduit to pull me and Kristen together because he was so tight with her, and before that it was us. And then shortly after that, that was short-lived. I went, in the military, and I was stationed over in Germany, and I had to spend like a whole year by myself without any family, because I just couldn't travel home. And so, about the second year, I got a little homesick, and I said, like, somebody come visit me. Who's going to come out to Germany and visit me? Well, I convinced Brian, who I think was maybe 17 at the time. Yeah, he's senior, about ready to go off to college, and I said, dude, come on over and we'll go run with the Bulls in Pamplona. And I had about 4 other buddies that we just thought it'd be a great idea. I mean, we knew nothing about it. There wasn't any internet. We couldn't Google it. We couldn't, we just knew that, we saw it. It looked like it was going to be a good time. So another road trip was hatched, and we got Brian a passport and a plane ticket. He came over with, I think, 1 pair of jeans, and I know they had a hole in the front pocket. I'll get to that in a minute. A green rugby shirt and maybe 2 other T-shirts, and that was about it. Yeah. So the road trip vehicle of that year, pull the one out that has what's in the truck, was a thing called a Rancho.
Rancho, yeah, Rancho.
Right? And it was, I Googled it the other day, it's called a Matra Rancho, and it's like a French, and it looks like a pre-Land Rover, where they like to call things like this thing on steroids. That was like a Land Rover on estrogen. I mean, it was, or you might describe it like a fishbowl on the back of a pickup truck, right? Because it literally was all glass, and the only way that we could really be comfortably, fit people in there was to take the seats out and lay in the back. So it would be always 3 of us in the back laying there, and also, I noticed that the slogan back in the day of that was for people who don't mind being noticed a little bit. And we were noticed. But anyway, my friends love Brian. He fit right in right away. I mean, these were all military guys, a little bit older, and Brian just entertained everybody with his wit. And we talked about, books, and he played his harmonica and entertained us. And somehow we made it through 1,400 kilometers through France in the back of that Rancho, without too many major mishaps. And so when we got there, we had no idea what we were going to expect with the running of the Bulls itself. So what did we do as 4 dudes? Is we figured we'd go out and drink a little bit the first night. And the one piece of advice that we got was make sure you are on the street at 8 o'clock the next morning, because if you're not, you're just not going to be able to run. There's just too many people trying to get on there, and the police will not. They'll just literally beat you with batons. And so, of course, we showed up at 8:05, and sure enough, there was people 10 deep, trying to get on the street. And we're like, well, this isn't never going to stop us, right? So we tried to bull our way through, and the only way we finally could get in was to get on our hands and knees and crawl through people until we got on the street. And I remember Brian getting down there first, and me getting down there and, seeing that green rugby shirt, and me and him walking down the street, not really sure what was going on. There was a couple false starts where people would run. And then finally it was on. I mean, the cannon went off, and literally it was a stampede of people just with this crazed, fear look in their face. And I think I was more afraid of some big Swede running me over than I was a bull. And I'd like to be able to tell you that, I was like the big brother and protecting Brian and keeping him safe from the bulls, but that would be bull. I was every man for himself. And I just hightailed down the street, just trying not to get trampled. So I eventually did make it, and I remember the bulls blazing by me, and I'm not getting killed, and going under a tunnel until we ended up in this huge coliseum, like it's like a bullfighting arena. And we had no idea this was going to be there. And hearing just like the cheers of "Ole, Ole," and I felt a little bit like either a gladiator or like a Christian about ready to get eaten by lions. And I was so happy that everything was good. And I started collecting my friends, and I realized, oh my God, Brian's gone. Where's Brian? Is he dead? Mom's gonna kill me. And then I feel this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and there's that green rugby shirt. And Brian's like, "Yeah, that was a blast, man." High fiving, hugging, and we're like, "Yes, what do we do now? I don't know." And then we had, basically we did this for about 5 days straight. We repeated. We, then, spend time in the park. And here's that picture of us that, that day, that first day that we all kind of made it back alive, and Brian with his green rugby shirt. So then, I'm almost done. I'm Army. I did the Army for 4 years, and Brian, about that time, moved and started his career and pursuing his career up in New York. And we kind of separated again for a little bit, and I started my family down in North Carolina. And the one thing that really, we're not the kind of brothers that necessarily write or call all the time, but we're always there for each other. I mean, he was my best man in my wedding, and the thing that kept us together was, I think, the Thanksgiving times, where we would have, rent the biggest, nicest place we could find. And Brian would come down every year. I mean, 15 years we did it, I think, 10 years straight, and we never missed one. And the joke at the time, Brian would every now and then bring a friend along. It was a friend that we didn't want to get too used to or like too much, because she might not make it past a couple of years. And the joke at the time, my dad used to say before Thanksgiving, he'd be like, "Hey Tom, who do you think is going to step off the plane this year?" Well, one of those years it was Jackie who stepped off the plane. And it was, I think it was 2013. 2013, Jackie stepped on the plane, and we immediately all loved her. I mean, how could you not love Jackie, Perfect compliment to Brian. She got along with the family perfectly, engaged with the kids, playing video or air hockey and foosball. And I know how to pick winners pretty good too. And so we have this tradition where we have a turkey bowl where we play football. And Jackie was always my first pick. She's got a little bit of a competitive streak in her. You might not realize that right now, but just engage any game with her. She prefer to win. And so here's a picture of us all. 2 years in a row, me, Jackie, and then Mr. Calvin Johnson, Luke, over there. And one final picture, but the last one. Just two more. Oh, yeah. So we missed this one right here. This is what I call the turkey days, because there were so many years we were kind of dazed through. Again, another road trip, a grown-up road trip, mobile, my Land Rover. And then finally, I just want to close with this one right here. I think life's been good to be so far, right? Awesome. Us playing disc golf. Yeah. So I guess this is normally the time I would propose a toast, but Luke and his cousin Abe would like to do that part.
Yeah.
So all right.
Testing. First of all, congratulations, everyone. Everyone here is so happy to know that you two are getting married.
Right when we met Jackie, we all knew that she was the one. We have all had our good laughs with her, like Tankhead, if you know what I mean. If you're not with us, you must be confused, but it was just an inside joke. You should know.
We are blessed to have Jackie in our family now. Jackie is lucky to have Uncle Brian, and Uncle Brian is lucky to have Jackie.
Love is like a balloon. If you let it go, it is gone. But if you cherish it and hold on to it tightly, it is safe forever.
That's sweet.
Marketers.
Oh my God. Now can we have everybody raise their glass?
Yes.
Yeah. Uncle Brian and Aunt Jackie.
Yeah.
To Uncle Brian and Aunt Jackie, may you have a great life together. Take care of that balloon.
Oh my God.